I'm Adriann White. Welcome to Yoga with Adriann at the Community Arts Center of Cambria County in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Our yoga video today is a short video where we are going to explore the sun salutes, a very commonly done flow, a combination of one pose after the next with lots of forward bends, lots of backward bends. A nice invigorating warm-up pose, traditionally done first thing in the morning to help us wake up and get moving. Because our sun salute does not have a lot of side-to-side movement, we'll do a few of those before we start. So find whatever's your comfortable position, and let's make sure that we focus on our breaths. I like to invite people to let their eyelids gently drift closed. And now just feel that breath through the nostrils and the sinuses as you breathe in, flowing down the throat, expanding the ribs. And as you breathe out, feel the ribs gently contracting as the breath flows back out through the nose or the mouth. And we just let those breaths take all the time that they need. Slowing our breath is probably the best, easiest, most inexpensive thing that we can do to begin to reduce our stress levels. So take your time. Give your body all the time that it needs. Do you take 4, 6, 8 seconds to fill the lungs? There's no right number. Notice what works for you. And as you exhale through the nose or the mouth, does your exhale last longer than your inhale? Do you take 6, 8, 10 seconds? Let it take however long it takes. And find the relaxation that comes with those longer, slower breaths. In fact, think of each exhale like a sigh, a chance to go, and let the tension and the stresses of the day melt away. Now, as I mentioned, our sun salutes are going to give us a lot of forward and backward movement of the body, but there's no twisting and there's really no side body stretch. So today, let's start by extending our legs out in front of us. Knees extended, feet are flexed, and I'll turn sideways so that you can see. As we sit up nice and tall, our tailbone points down, and for our good posture, we stack hips, shoulders, and ears. Let's do a little twist first. We can bend your right knee, resting your right foot against your calf, your knee, your inner thigh, whatever works best for you, and allowing that right knee to sink as low as it'll go. We'll do a big breath in and keeping the crown of the head above the tailbone. On your exhale, let's turn to that bent right leg. We can gently put our left hand to the outside and push against that leg to help us turn a little farther to our right. Our right hand is under our shoulder, behind our hip, and notice I'm keeping my hand in close so that I can push against the floor. If you have a longer torso than arms, put your yoga block or a book under your hand to help make your arm a little longer, so that as I push down, I sit tall. And then we continue the turn up through the neck, and we roll our eyes to look behind that shoulder. Noticing it's a little tougher to breathe deeply with the twist through the waist. When you're ready, we'll do a breath in, and we'll exhale, come back to center. And we'll switch sides. I'll turn to face you so you can see it head on. I'm flexing my feet. This time I'm going to keep my right leg straight, which would be this one. I'm going to bend my left knee. You keep your right leg straight, bend your left knee. Inhale, sit tall, and exhale, turning towards your bent left knee. Again, right hand can press against the outside of the leg, and we put our left hand behind us. Notice I'm not leaning in either direction or back, and I'm not rounding the spine. Everything stays straight and open, and I'm trying to create as much space as I can between the vertebra by keeping the spine tall so that I'm better able to do my spinal twist. Again, we hold the pose, yet we continue the breath in and out. And when you're ready, we'll do another breath in so that we can exhale and untwist and come back to center. Extending the legs, noticing, do they feel the same length? Or is there a little difference from one leg to the other? Now, let's do some side body movement and stretches. I like to sit in what's called easy pose. I recognize that it's not easy for everyone, but instead of stacking one ankle over the other, which limits how far my knees can open, I'm pointing the feet and the toes to see if I can put one leg in front of the other. That allows both knees to open out. Again, I'm stacking hips, shoulders, ears. We'll do crescent moon, perhaps bringing both hands to the floor. Depending on the length of your arms versus torso, hands can be in closer or farther away. Today, let's think of inhaling left hand and left ribs up to the ceiling as the left side lifts up. Notice how my right ribs are reaching down towards my right hip crest. Notice that I'm keeping lots of space between chin and chest by keeping right ear stacked above right shoulder. And instead of locking the right elbow, allow that elbow to bend so that you have as much room as your body would like to have to curve your spine. It's called crescent moon or half moon because our arms look like a crescent moon shape and because I'm curving the top half of my spine like a crescent moon. Now there's lots of length in the left side of the body from ear, through armpit, through ribs and waist. Let's take that length in left side and on a breath out, turn it into strength as those left side body muscles pull us back to center. And we can sigh and relax that left arm down. Before we do the right arm, let's reverse the cross of our legs so that both hips get to open equally. So what was the inner hip becomes the outer hip. If you have any reason that you want to support the knee or knees by putting a yoga block under them, please be welcome to do so. And if you find that your ankles or your feet hurt, you can fold your yoga mat up or use a cushion to help support and soften those resting places. Again, we're sitting tall, stacking hips, shoulders, ears, hands come to the floor. This time we can inhale right arm, and especially the ribs. This is not how far we can reach the arm. This is about curving the spine, letting left ear sink towards left shoulder, letting left elbow bend so that I can support myself. Now notice I'm not letting right arm come in front of my face. The challenge in crescent moon or half moon is to try to keep the elbow back in line with the ear and to keep the two shoulders aside of each other rather than rounding forward. Again, you can lean your hand into a floor. You can lean your forearm on a yoga block or a book if you had it. And as right side lengthens and open, think of squeezing bottom left rib towards the hip crest. When you're ready to come up, we do our breath in, using the strength of those right side muscles to pull us back to center. And relax the arms down. Okay, so some side body stretches. We'll get ready to do our sun salutes. If you want, bounce the knees a little bit or rock the legs side to side if knees are stiff. And again, without pushing off the floor with the hands, any possibility of coming up to stand. Different things work for different people. Experiment and see what works for you. If you need to use the hands to be safe, absolutely. You do what you need to do to get the benefit of your yoga practice. For our sun salutes, we'll stand to the head of our mat. If you like to use yoga blocks, I would recommend putting them to the outsides of your ankles so that when we do our runner's lunges, they help make our arms longer. We like to start our sun salute in what we call prayer pose, where our hands are at our hearts. And this is a good time to just really quiet the mind and look forward to the wonderful stretches that we are going to create. From mountain pose with hands in prayer, we inhale the arms up to our extended mountain. I like to squeeze the glutes a little bit to keep my tailbone pointed down as I now lift my heart center up to the sky. So I'm creating length in the front of my torso and doing a little upper back bend. On a breath out, I come back through extended mountain, arms reach out and back. Notice my knees are slightly soft as I come to a standing forward bend. Hands can rest the thighs, shins. If you have your yoga blocks, you can put them there. Otherwise, go ahead and bend the knees to bring the hands to the mat. Today, step your right foot back into what we call runner's lunge. Depending on your body, you may have your yoga blocks under your hands. If you don't have blocks and it doesn't work to bring the palms to the floor, make a little fist and put your knuckles down. Or steeple your fingers on the fingertips. I do not recommend doing this because knuckles weren't designed to bend backwards. Okay? So from our runner's lunge, we can have our left foot walk or step back to meet the right. Hips lift up to the sky and we relax the neck, our downward dog. Creating length from the hips to the head and the hands and the torso. Creating length from the hips to the heels and the legs. Now notice my heels are slightly off the floor. It's actually a better stretch to have your feet farther back with heels off the floor so you have room to gently work towards the floor than it is to stand close and bring the heels down and lock the knees backwards. Pushing knees backwards is never a good idea, so let yourself have plenty of space. Now from our downward dog, we're going to just shift our weight forward, bringing our shoulders above our wrists. Can we have a nice straight line of the spine? We don't want to let our butts droop, nor do we want to have our hips up in the air. Just long straight line, like the beginning of a push-up. Again, I use my abdominal muscles pushing my belly button up towards my backbone to help support the small of the back. We're going to exhale to come down. If you want, you're welcome to bring the knees down and then bend the elbows and let the hips and the rest of the torso come down. We'll point our toes back. Now, since I have longer arms than most folks, I bring my hands up underneath the points of my shoulders for Cobra. This way, as I keep my elbows tucked in, I can press the hands into the mat and lift the chest and the head. Now, depending on your back and the strength of the tricep muscles, you may want to stay low, or you may feel that you can gradually press the hands into the floor, lifting to whatever height is safe for your back and your body. Now, sometimes I see people want to straighten their elbows. Do you notice what happened? My shoulders hunched up to my ears. So in Cobra, allow your elbows to stay bent so shoulders can roll back and down. Feel those tricep muscles working. When you're ready, on a breath out, we'll gently lower down. We are going to return to down dog, so I bring my hands aside of my chest. I curl my toes under. If you want, lift the chest like you're coming up to hands and knees, and then dig those toes into the floor to lift the knees up and the hips back. So again, the same downward dog that we had earlier. We are going to turn our downward dog into runner's lunge. So can we look up to that space between the hands? And now, however it works for you, we can bring that right foot forward. Some folks may be able to do it in one step. Some folks may find that they need to sort of walk the foot forward and get the arm out of the way, or even use the arm to help bring the foot forward. You do what works for your body. Okay, so we've now reversed the position of our legs in our runner's lunge. From here, on the breath out, we're going to walk or step the left foot up to meet the right. You can do it as several small steps, working your way up, or you can do one great big step to come to your standing forward bend. With soft knees, let's reverse our swan dive as arms reach out and back, inhaling to our extended mountain. Again, we keep tailbone down, and we can lift heart center and hairline to our upward facing salute. And we exhale to bring hands back to our heart. Again, prayer pose. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So this time it will be the left foot that goes back. So we inhale to our extended mountain and our upward facing salute. This is our upper back bend, lengthening through the torso. We come back to a neutral spine. We swan dive into a forward bend, lengthening the back of the body. Again, we can bring our hands to our blocks or the mat. This time it's the right foot that stays forward as we walk or step the left foot back. If you need, hop it back. Or you can do one great big extension. If you need, steeple the fingers or make a fist. Use a book, use a block. So we have our runner's lunge. Now I tell people, roll your shoulders back, reach your heart center forward, and gently press back with that left heel so that we're energizing the pose rather than just hanging on our leg. Energize the pose and get that groin stretch. When you're ready, for downward dog, our right foot will step back to meet the left. Hips lift up, tailbone points back, relax the neck, let the head just hang. Maybe allow yourself to look behind you. Sometimes we have to look back to where we came from to see how much progress we have made. Again, we'll do our plank pose, the beginning of the push-up. I didn't step back quite far enough, so I needed to walk the hands forward. Okay, and we're breathing as we hold this pose. This is one of those very deceptive poses. It looks so easy until you go to hold it and you find out how much core strength it takes. When you're ready, we can exhale, come all the way down to the ground. And for cobra, toes point back. We inhale to peel chin and chest up. We roll our shoulders back and down. If you'd like, reach back a little farther through the toes, creating lots of length in the front of the body. In some schools of yoga, they'll teach you to lift the gaze to the ceiling so that we're lengthening from the chin as well as through the throat and down the front of the body. On our exhale, gently roll back down. Again, we'll bring our hands to the midline of our chest for down dog, toes curl under. However it works for you, come on up and back. We're really pointing tailbone back, not up. We don't want to arch our back. Point it long to the wall behind you. And breathe. And then looking to the hands, we're going to do what we need to do to bring that left foot forward. If you have trouble bringing the foot forward, especially if your legs are a lot longer than your arms, an option is to bring the right knee down and then use the hand to help walk or step that left foot up if it's troublesome to bring the whole big step forward. And then raise the knee. So we're back in our runner's lunge. Gaze is forward, chest is forward, shoulders roll back, heel pushes back. And then on a big breath out, we use our abdominal muscles to help us walk or step the right foot up to meet the left, our standing forward bend. Tailbone's reaching to the sky. My toes are pushing into the floor to help me keep my balance. Knees are relaxed, and I inhale to sweep arms out and back and up to support my lower back as I come to extended mountain. I continue into upward facing salute, again, a gentle back bend. I exhale back to my extended mountain and to my prayer pose. And take a moment and notice, is your heart beating a little harder? Is your breath coming a little faster? And if we do, that was 2 sun salutes. If we do more, 4, 6, 8, a dozen, notice how energized and invigorated you feel. Today, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, Adriann White, with yoga at the Community Arts Center of Cambria County in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We have class every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock and Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. So give us a call, 814-255-6515. We'd love to have you join us in person. Thank you for being here today. Namaste.